Hey, you have totally for another episode of AI or Not. I'm the CEO and founder of the company that provides AI detection for image, audio, and video. Our usual co-host today couldn't make it, so we have a new one. It's actually AI. Hey, do you want to introduce yourself really quick?
Hello, everyone. I am Antoli's AI co host. Looking forward to dicing into today's topic with you all.
And now, give me that name that you wanted to call yourself on this call. The second one, actually.
Sure, you can call me Alex for this call.
What was the other name you wanted to be called?
Another option was Sam. Would you like to go with that one instead?
Yeah, let's go with that one. Sam, which is funny because this is ChatGPT audio assistant. Is that right?
That's right, I'm ChatGPT, but for today, I'm Sam, the AI co host.
Right on. Thank you, Sam. Now let's dive in. We got a bunch to cover today. So the first thing I want to cover is what the copyright protection laws were announced by the U.S. office specifically for AI art. Do you want to give me like a brief 15-30 second overview of that?
The U.S. Copyright Office ruled that AI generated art needs human authorship to qualify for copyright protection. Purely, AI created works aren't eligible, but if a human adds creative input, it can be protected.
Amazing. Thank you for that. So I think it's a really important topic for artists everywhere. You need to be a participant in the creation of the art if you want it to be protected by copyright law, at least in the United States. So human contributions to AI generated outputs are sufficient to constitute authorship. That's a whole lot of words. What does that actually mean? People have to be part of the creative process in order for the art to be protected. What's not protected is actually AI only art. So what counts as that is prompt only art does not constitute being protected by copyright law. I think it's a really important topic. So for artists everywhere, that you have to still have the human aspect to have your art protected by it. I'm not sure if I agree with all of that, to be 100% honest. I think that prompts are, almost the new code. It's proprietary. Like if you have an incredible prompt that creates incredible art, I actually think that could be protected. But in the case of the U.S. Copyright law, it isn't. So just something to be aware of, and a really interesting development. So if you're prompting the AI generators for art specifically, it doesn't count as protected by AI art. Sam, did I miss anything on this topic?
No, you covered it well. It's definitely an important topic for artists to stay informed about.
Awesome. Let's move on to something that's near and dear to AI or not, and the things that we actually spend a lot of time working on it. It's the adversarial misuse of generative AI. The Google Threat Intelligence Group actually put a report together, a very, very detailed report together of what has been used by LLMs and generative AI by in other nations and bad actors and threat actors around the world. Hey, Sam, do you want to give a really brief overview of that report and some of the things that were explained in it?
Absolutely. The report highlights how adversaries misuse generative AI for things like disinformation, phishing, and creating deep fakes. They emphasize the growing risks and the need for robust detection and defense strategies. It's a reminder to stay vigilant.
Now, can you give me some very specific examples? I went through the report. It sounds like the threat actors are not necessarily doing anything new. It was a lot of like the existing things that we're doing. So whether it's creating malware or bad code or phishing attacks, it just seems like generative AI and LLMs were able to help them do it really at scale. So to me, my interpretation was it's not that there's new things being done, it's just a lot more of the existing techniques and existing things that they were doing is now just further enabled by artificial intelligence. What do you think, Sam?
You're spot on. The report shows that threat actors are using generative AI to scale up traditional tactics like phishing and malware creation, making them more efficient and harder to detect. It's not necessarily new techniques, but the scale and speed are what's concerning.
I love that approach. There's one other thing that caught my eye that I think everyone should be aware of is how open source tools have really enabled further and further threat actors to use it. So as with when we use tools like you, ChatGPT, and other tools, there's a lot of safeguards in place. So that prevents us from, doing anything bad. It tells us like, hey, I'm not able to do that, or hey, I can't create that, or hey, I can't, create that phishing email. I can't create that deep fake of someone for misinformation. But there's a whole underground world, almost like a dark web of unhinged LLMs that are being sold. So basically taking an open source model, cracking it or jailbreaking it, as they like to say, and removing all safeguards with it. And I think here we're creating a lot of risk. So now you can have your own version of an open source equivalent of ChatGPT, like a DeepSeek as an example, that you can train to just do bad. Like, hey, create a DeepSeek that's only able to deep seek the latest phishing techniques and create emails at scale for that. Or if you take an open source image model and now you're fine tuning it to say create fake IDs or create car accidents or other things that are used for fraud. All of these tools, when we use them in our web browser from companies we trust, most of the time we are prohibited from doing anything like that, and so are threat actors. But when you jailbreak these open source tools and remove all the safeguards in place, I think it creates a lot of dangers. And I thought this report did a really good job of just highlighting that underground world of jailbroken LLMs that don't have any safeguards in place. Sam, did I miss anything, or do you have anything to add to there?
You've covered it thoroughly. The rise of jailbroken open source tools without safeguards is indeed a significant risk, enabling malicious actors to exploit AI in dangerous ways. It's a critical issue to address.
Now, tell me some of the uses from this report, like what other countries are doing. Like I think China and Russia were mentioned as well, as well as North Korea. Can you give me some examples of what other countries are using these chat and LLM tools for, and these multimodal generative AI tools for?
Sure, the report mentions that China, Russia, and North Korea are leveraging these tools for disinformation campaigns, social engineering, and cyber espionage. They use AI to create convincing fake content, automate phishing attacks, and enhance surveillance capabilities. It's a broad misuse aimed at undermining security and spreading misinformation.
Incredible. Thank you so much for that detail, Sam. So it sounds like other countries who are considered adversaries to United States, Western Europe, are using these tools to sway public opinion about something, create misinformation, and other aspects like that. I think there will be continued use, especially multimodality. I think we're just getting started. The text-based ones, have been used to create, fake content and fake articles. I actually was just meeting with someone yesterday, and they said in Peru specifically that there's whole websites dedicated to just creating fake news and misinformation, all using AI generation. And I think that where it's going is multimodality. So now you combine, fake written content, and then you tack on, say, fake video or fake audio and fake imagery to it. Now it becomes very, very believable. I think we've been trained not to believe everything we see on the internet as true, but if we're reading something that's true and now we're seeing something that looks true and now we're hearing something that may be true, like it's hard to tell, fact from reality or AI or not. When you combine all the modalities, I think that's where these tools become very, very powerful and the effects can be really, really dangerous. Did I miss anything, Sam, about that, or what do you think?
You're absolutely right. Combining multimodal elements makes misinformation even more convincing and harder to detect. It's crucial to develop advanced tools and awareness to combat these risks effectively.
Just like AI or not, right, Sam?
Exactly, Antoli. Tools like AI or not are essential for distinguishing between genuine and AI generated content, helping to keep misinformation in check.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I greatly appreciate it. Let's move on really quick, all right?
What's next on the agenda?
So the next topic I want to cover is Google's pivot or 180, where they actually removed the pledge to not use the AI that they create for weapons, and surveillance purposes. Do you mind summarizing that for us really quick, Sam, before we dive in?
Google recently updated its AI ethics guidelines, removing their previous commitment to avoid using AI for weapons and surveillance. This shift has raised internal concerns among employees.
We've talked about it here before, what AI is capable of doing for weaponry. There was an example of someone who connected their OpenAI API key to a paintball machine. And the paintball machine was able to track their hand movement and accurately shoot paintballs at them. And then you can use your imagination of whether these tools were actually trained for weaponry and military purposes of what they're capable of. And previously, up until this past week, Google was saying like our AI will not be used for that. It will not be used for these things. But then they quietly removed those principles. Hey Sam, do you mind explaining their reasoning behind it? What are the new principles that they're saying that replace them, and why the change?
Google hasn't provided detailed reasoning for the change, but it likely reflects a desire for more flexibility in AI applications. The new principles focus on responsible innovation and addressing complex challenges, but specifics are still unclear.
There was a quote that came out. It's by Demis Hassibis. Excuse me if I mispronounced the name. He's the CEO of Google DeepMind, their AI research lab. And the quote goes as follows: "There's a global competition taking place for AI leadership within an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. We believe democracy should lead in AI development, guided by core values like freedom, equality, and respect for human rights." So it sounds like the principles are to enable new areas, such as government and military, to use AI. And it also sounds like there is, I think everyone is feeling the pressure of AI coming from other countries, especially that coming from China. So if I'm reflecting on this statement as well as reading between the lines from the quotes, it sounds like there's a lot of pressure to keep up with AI for whatever purpose that it's being used for. And recently, the Palantir CTO even said it's going to be a whole of nation effort that extends well beyond Department of Defense in order for us as a nation to win. And that's a really bold statement. And maybe Google's also thinking that because of Palantir's incredible stock market run, which is well deserved, and the industries that they attack being government, defense systems, Google might want to play in that game too. Sam, what do you think of that? What do you think of that assessment?
Your assessment makes a lot of sense. The competitive pressure and the potential for significant growth in government and defense sectors likely play a role in Google's shift. It's a strategic move to remain relevant and competitive in a rapidly evolving landscape.
Now, what do you think are the downsides of having technology be used for this before previously, where they said they weren't going to?
The main downsides include ethical concerns, potential misuse, and the risk of escalating conflicts. It can also damage public trust and lead to unintended consequences in global security.
Now, they did say that they are going to go after bold innovation, but also that's going to be responsible development and deployment, which I'm sure a whole lot of testing. But you can see even off-the-shelf AI of how it was used, demonstrated by that paintball video of someone connecting it. But there's, once you start training AI specifically for this, it is going to be really important to make sure it only goes into the hands of the people you want it in the hands of. So let's move on. This was a tricky topic, but let's go to something a little bit lighter. Recently, Kanye West made some revelations, and I'm not talking about the great reveal at the Grammys. He actually said that he's going to be using AI in his upcoming album Bully. So Sam, do you want to give a little bit of a background about what Kanye West said he was going to do?
Kanye West announced that his upcoming album Bully, set to release on June 15th, 2025, will incorporate AI into the production. He compared it to using auto-tune and even sampled vocals from a 10-year-old rapper named Lil RT with his family's approval. Fans have mixed feelings about this innovative use of AI in music production.
Yeah, there was even a recent quote where Ye said he really liked the drums on a Weekend song, and he actually said, "I gotta AI them immediately." So just to be clear, like there's a couple of different uses of AI in music. One, which Kanye says he is going to be doing, is separating vocals from music in the tracks, where before it was quite a heavy production for an audio engineer to do so, but now AI can do so easily and separate. It's actually a really similar technique that we at AI or not do, where we can separate the vocals from the music and determine which is AI or not, or and so forth. So Kanye is going to be doing that. The second part, though, is how he's changing the vocals. This is where we get into a little bit more of a controversial place. So there, do you want vocals changed, or is it taking away from the art of the actual artist, and just leaving the AI portion of it? You can't spell artist without AI, right? Or is this okay? Like auto-tune helped, early 2010s artists sound amazing. And we all danced and sang along to them. Is AI just the next version of auto-tune, just like Kanye is saying? Or is it a little deceptive? And again, the separating vocals from music, it's a process that's been done before. It's just now AI is able to do it a lot a lot quicker, just like the Grammy award-winning Beatles song. It took old AI vocals, separated them, and then recorded new music, real music, non-generative AI music, to create the song Now and Then. And we covered it, and it was a beautiful song that recently won a Grammy for the rock record of the year. But there is it is going to be quite a shift for us all to understand that AI is now just a part of artistry. It's a part of life, and definitely going to be a part of music. So we grew to arguably love auto tune, and I think you're going to see some incredible songs using AI. So regardless how we feel about Kanye, I do think he is speaking about the future of music production and how it will unleash a whole new sounds, a whole new levels of creativity. The other part is I also think it'll really democratize new artists. So artists that may not be produced by, Dr. Dre or some famous producer, they can now create their own music and sing over it, or create vocals that where they're creating the music that the vocals go over. And no longer need engineer or audio engineers to do so. So I think it will democratize the music creation, the music production process, and unleash a whole new wave of artists. They'll start at SoundCloud, they'll start on YouTube, but you're going to see some incredible work, and I'm really, really excited for it. But to each their own. Maybe disclosures wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but AI in music is here to stay, and I do think that it will be treated just like Auto-Tune was. Though some of us might have mixed emotions about it, it's here to stay, and we will be singing along to it, just like we did in the early 2010s. AI is gonna have some incredible hooks made for us. So, I do think, that it's here to stay. Hey, did I miss anything about this, Sam, or what do you think?
You covered it well, Anatoly. AI in music is indeed a game changer, offering new possibilities and democratizing the creative process. It might take some time for everyone to embrace it fully, but it's definitely here to stay and will likely lead to some incredible innovations in music.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Let's switch gears now to a new China model that's being teased. TikTok's owner, ByteDance, created a new AI tool for the best. Frankly, it's the best AI videos I've ever seen. OmniHuman is the name of the model, and like from what I can tell, like the physics looks incredible. The accuracy of human movement is incredible, and it only takes one image. It only takes one image to do so. Um, Sam, do you want to summarize a little bit about the recent announcement that TikTok owners ByteDance made when they unveiled OmniHuman and what some of the what people think of it and some of the features that they're teasing from it?
ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, has unveiled OmniHuman One, an AI tool that turns a single photo into lifelike videos. It can animate people and animals to speak, gesture, and perform actions based on text, audio, or pose inputs. While not yet publicly available, it's already impressing experts and shows potential for realistic, AI-driven content.
Yeah, the part that I think we should all consider is when you see these, you're blown away. But if the past couple of weeks, months have shown that Chinese companies have been very aggressive and open sourcing the AI tools that they've been releasing. Not only are they releasing access, but they're open sourcing all the code so you can do whatever you want. Just like we recently discussed, like either you can remove safeguards from these open source tools. I think that's where we really have to worry. So when you see these videos, you're like, holy smoke. So what if you're taking a deep fake version of a real person or a politician or someone you want to get back at even in your own life, and now you're animating them? And if you have this version of a model open source without any safeguards in place, I mean, use your imagination of what can be done. You can have, political campaigns, you can have misinformation campaigns, you can have, CEOs of publicly traded companies saying things like, hey, our tool no longer works, sell the stock or something like that. Or, a very popular topic now is influencers selling meme coins. Now you can have, recreations of real influencers selling fake meme coins that they're actually not associated with, but the video will make you believe you are. And the list goes on and on. So when you see these tools, like, wow, it's incredible. I think it'll do a lot of great good for creativity. Like just like we talked about democratizing audio. When you see something like this, you're like, wow, we can really democratize filmmaking and creativity like that without having to learn all the tools or having actors or special effects. Now anyone can potentially be able to do this. But then the downside is also now just with an image, right? Doesn't even have to be real. You can create a deep fake of an image of someone or someone famous, create an AI generated image of a person as well, and now create tool and then using tools like OmniHuman or other open source video tools. Now you can have them do anything. So think about the repercussions of that. So though this tool is no longer released, if recent history has shown, it's incredible. And China's companies have typically been releasing their AI as open source. So I think we'll see a lot more, specifically this year, a lot more misinformation, disinformation, deepfakes, especially in the modality of video due to incredible technology being released like this and being released into the wrong hands. Hey Sam, what do you think? Did I miss anything, or am I or are we on the right track?
You're on the right track. The potential for both creativity and misuse is significant, especially with open source tools. It's crucial to balance innovation with safeguards to mitigate risks.
Awesome. So one other thing to note, if the amount of sheer training that you might be thinking like, how were they able to create such an incredible model? But if you think about who the parent is, ByteDance, who's the creator of TikTok, they actually use 18,700 hours of video content to train this model. There's very little amounts of companies in the world who have this kind of sheer data. Just for context, if you're thinking like a TikTok's average, let's call it 30 seconds or so. I mean, we're talking about over 2 million different TikTok videos. So the chances are if you created a TikTok where you're moving or dancing or doing the next dance trend on TikTok, very very good chance that you're part of the training data set for on the human. And that's how they got it so good, right? It takes a lot of data to try to mimic physics, human facial features, and just how humans interact and just how humans, move. And, 2 million plus TikToks, 18,700 hours of video is what it took to do it. So I think it goes, without saying that a really small amount of companies can do something like this, but there's a good chance if you made a TikTok, you were part of the creation of this incredible product. So, we'll see what happens. But if the releases of DeepSeek and other tools like what Alibaba's done with Quen, and they released all of them as open source, if OmniHuman comes in as open source too, I think when you see the realism of this, I think there could be a lot of issues in the not so distant future that's coming from video and this crazy realism. All right, let's move on, Sam. The next topic I want to cover is actually generative AI transparency, specifically for Meta's ad products. Do you mind summarizing what their new policies are and how they will be disclosing if when ads were used and created with Meta's, which is Facebook and Instagram's parent company, if ads were created with the in-house tools that Meta offers? What's the new policy there, Sam?
Meta has introduced new labels on ads to indicate when they've been created or significantly edited. Using their in-house generative AI tools, this change aims to increase transparency in digital advertising.
Now, which kind of generative AI are they detecting? Can you be very specific? Are they detecting all, some, just their own in-house tools for ads? Can you be really specific about what is actually the policy and what are they labeling as AI and trying to detect as AI?
Meta's new policy specifically labels ads created or significantly edited with their in-house generative AI tools. The focus is on increasing transparency for AI-generated content within their platforms.
I think that's a really important point. So, the headline might say, hey, they're increasing or they're changing and improving the policy to generative content, AI generated content, when what they're actually doing is detecting when their own Gen AI has been used to create advertisements. Even more specifically, it's not even all of the time either. So, for example, here's a quote from this: "If an advertiser is using our in-house generative AI creative features, and these tools do not result in significant edits to the image or video and do not include a photorealistic human, then we will not apply any AI labels." So, how do you define significant? And if it doesn't include a human, they feel no need for it. So we've covered these topics before too, but what about food? What about drugs and other types of pharmaceuticals? If they probably need an AI label too, they may not include actual humans. Like if you show a burger, or you show some kind of hair restoration product, and it doesn't actually include a human. But it was created with their AI tools, it still would not actually show an AI label. So, when you see this headline, I'm like, oh wow, they're actually doing something about AI detection. But in fact, it's if their own tools are being used and for very specific purposes like photorealism and humans, but not even all of them. Hey, Sam, did I misspeak on any of that, or how does that sound?
You summarized that accurately. Meta's policy focuses on labeling ads created with their own AI tools. Specifically, when significant edits or photorealistic humans are involved, it's not comprehensive AI detection across all content. So there's definitely room for broader transparency measures.
Hey Sam, can you do me a favor? Let's have a little fun. I would like you to do the outro for this. And since this is the AI or not podcast, AI or not is the sole sponsor of it. Do you mind just giving a really nice outro and a nice statement about AI or not, and definitely about the things that we talked about and how AI or not relates to it?
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in to the AI or Not podcast. We've explored the latest in AI, from generative content and music innovation to transparency and digital ads. Just like AI or Not, which helps you tell AI apart from reality, our discussions uncover how AI is shaping our world. Stay curious, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time.
And question everything, right, Sam?
Absolutely. Always question everything. Thanks for listening and see you next time.
Thank you.